because universal means
For
across the board,
yes.
unbiased. It's not to be determined based off of what is conditional for you or what is conditional for you. Is it right or is it wrong?
Well, it's the law of first mention, and
Was it right or was it wrong?
mentioning not at the time, because if you look at the 5 books of the Talmud,
Mm,
which is
mm,
the law of Moses given to him by the Lord, it
mm.
stated you cannot marry your brother or sister. That was after Abraham was already existed, so there was no law by the
Correct.
Lord
The
that was
laws,
put down
those laws
beforehand.
were
No,
given
no,
The
no,
after
no,
law,
no,
that.
no, 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 no.
exactly, because the
Let me
law of
remind
first
you what you
mention is
said.
what matters. The
Let me
law of
remind you
first
what you
mention.
said. I want to remind you what you said,
I
Scott.
know what I said.
You don't know what I'm about to say. You said God writes it on your heart.
Yes.
So you don't need any guidance from anybody, which is the reason why we got here in the first place, as far as the guidance that you have from your parents.
That's
Similarly to what we talked about when it came to the Mosaic Law. You said you know because God writes it on your heart. Not that you need anything from anybody else to be able to determine the difference between right or wrong, which is one of the reasons why we saying, is it universal or is it not? So if it's written on your heart,
yeah.
do you need any additional guidance because God is the ultimate light? Do you
Yes.
need additional guidance to be able to determine whether it's right or wrong?
Yes, because of what Adam did in the garden. We have sin nature. We're fallen by our nature,
But
meaning we're going to
Is it
rebel against
right
the
or
Father.
is it wrong?
It's right.
And
It can
is
it
right
can
or
be
wrong determined based off of the laws, or is it determined based off of what is written on your heart?
it's what God wrote on our heart. He wrote the laws on our
So,
heart
do
based
you
on what he
need
said.
additional guidance in order to
Yes,
determine right or
because
wrong?
Adam walked with Jesus in the garden and he still rebelled. So you're going to need it
We're
more
not
than
talking
Adam
about
did.
whether he did wrong. I'm saying, do we know the difference between right and
He
wrong?
knew, he
we
knew it was wrong to take the bite of the apple after Eve did it. He still did it because he chose Eve over God. He knew it was wrong, but he still chose to
Get.
do it.
I don't want you to
But
get.
he knows.
I don't want you to move away from what we're talking about.
I'm not moving away. The whole
You're
point is more.
saying, I want to remind you what you said. You said we universally understand the difference between right or wrong, and we
Yes.
don't need guidance from anybody because God writes it on our heart.
No, I said we need guidance. I remember I said we need a father
No,
and
no,
a
no.
mother.
Initially, you said we don't because God wrote it on our heart.
No, protection from the world. Sorry. Yes, you're right. I said you need protection from the world because you're certain places you're not mature enough to understand, but yet you do
And then
know
I
right
asked
or
you, was Abraham right for marrying Sarah? And you, or Sarai, however y'all want to
wrong.
pronounce it, and you said it was right for him.
Yeah, God told him to marry him. God also said that
So
Sarah
is
was
it
not
universally
wrong.
right or wrong, or are things conditional based off of the circumstances?
No, it's God's mention. It's not based off the circumstances. It's God. God's the ultimate arbiter of what
So
is
I
true,
can go and marry my sister.
not according to what God said. You're also
Well,
comparing the
Abraham can marry his sister.
he was the first. You can't
Wait,
change
wait, wait.
the
Abraham can
law
marry
was
his
written
sister.
after Abraham that said you can't do this. So now you're either going to
So
go,
it
well, no,
wasn't
God.
written on his heart. It was all based off of the law that was given to him afterwards.
He was given okay by the Lord at that moment. It says it.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Well,
whoa.
That's the
See,
all
difference.
right. So all right. So
that's not right.
let's move forward. So the children of Israel. What about when God told them to go and slaughter everything? Was that right
Yeah,
or wrong?
that was right because that was judgment.
Okay, so it was right. It wasn't
Yeah.
universal. It was conditional based off of what God told them.
Well, God judges people through men. So God will bring the sword as judgment, which he does
I don't know.
throughout
I'm
the
just
whole
asking a
Bible.
question.
I
Was
know,
it
but I'm telling you, so
universal or was it conditional?
that's universally right when God judges. God's judgment is right. So if God's judgment is to drop a rock on your head,
So,
that's right.
but it's not broad across the board. It's according to whatever it is that he's dealing with that person at that particular time.
It was judgment. It was because they were killing babies, they were burning them, and they were having indiscriminate sex. So it was judgment. He told
I'm
them go
asking
wipe
you
them
a
all
blanket
out.
question. Was it right or wrong for them to go in and kill everything?
No, because it was God's judgment.
But it was
God's
right
judgment.
because God told them to do it.
Because God is the arbiter of right. Either God is or he isn't.
So it's
So you
not
can't.
universal then.
It is universal if it's God's judgment. That's the whole point.
Okay.
Like if
So
you're universally killing babies,
what about what about taking a wife at an age that's under 15 or 14 years old?
Well, that's what we deem right or wrong here in the culture, but certain places like Islam will say 9 years
No,
old
no,
is
no. We're
okay.
talking about universally right or wrong. Is it right or wrong to take a wife under the age of 14, 13 years old?
Actually, isn't it? Somebody correct me about this in the old Mosaic law, but I think it's if they come of age of their flowering, which would be in that 13, 14 age. I think is what they wrote.
Universally, it's written on our heart.
Yeah,
Is it right or wrong
yeah.
for us to take a wife under the age of 14 years old?
According to the law, if they're mature now, according to the law, if they're
So,
14 or 15 and
so
they're and they're taking
it's
habits,
not okay to take a wife under the age of 14, right?
according to the law, no. According to the Bible, no.
Just in general, that's just.
And that was also under a
I'm
different
just trying to understand. The
dispensation.
reason why I'm asking these
So that was
questions,
under a different
the
dispensation.
reason why I'm asking these questions is
It's a
because
different.
I want
Yeah.
to understand: is it universal and is it written on our heart, or is it important for us to have guidance? Because I tend to believe that the reason why we have parents is to establish the difference between good and bad, right or wrong. We are guided specifically by our parents. We are taught the difference of what goes on by our parents, and that's why it says that the children will suffer for the sins of their parents. And so I can't just in good conscience say that a person that was raised a specific way just knows the difference between right or wrong because culturally, even if you want to talk about culturally here in the United States of America or culturally across the world, their standards may be different from our standards. And you cannot say that this is right over there because they don't believe in that. They don't abide by the same thing. And most of that stuff is not written in the word as far as how it is that we're supposed to abide by the law. And the nuance in it is what the
Um,
laws are in that particular country or that particular nation.
Anton, to
it's
address
written.
exactly what you said,
You
in
can't say
Romans
that.
in Romans 2:14,
There we
indeed,
go.
when Gentiles who do not have the law do by nature things required by the law, they are a law for themselves, even though they do not have the law. They show that the requirements of the law are written on their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts sometimes accusing them, and other times even defending them.
Exactly.
So that is
Specifically written to who? And this is another, and see, you got the right one today. You got the right one, right?
Written
Because
to.
again, you got to have the full context. You cannot
Mhm.
take a verse in itself, by itself, without understanding what happened prior to and what happens afterwards, right? So, I'll give you an example. A lot of times people will say, and thus saith the Lord, but they won't have the full context of who he was speaking to at that particular time, right? Jesus, for example, went inside of the church and turned over the tables, tore up everything. But the reason why, if you just looked at that and then somebody just took that verse or what was happening at that particular time and then you took that out of context, that's why it says that he will give you preachers and pastors after his own heart. That is why he says, in everything that you do, you get understanding, right? The requirements for what you are. I'll give you another example. What we deem as perfect for a 4 year old or a 5 year old and how it is that they're supposed to live their life, the qualifications is completely different from somebody that's 21 years old. And
Yeah.
so the requirements on their life, the requirements for what it is that they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis is different from what the requirements are for a saint or for a person that is supposed to be doing something a certain type of way, right?
We're not disagreeing.
Even if you want to talk about in the Bible, if you want to talk about the difference between the Jews and the Gentiles and the requirements for the Jews versus what it was for the Gentiles, versus in the New Testament where the comforter is available for both the Jew and the Gentile alike, it is a completely different standard and completely different requirement. So
Different
when you
dispensation.
read
So,
these things, you have to give the additional context as
what's
to
the
why
context
it
here?
came about in the first place. Why was Paul writing to the Galatians as to why they should not be obeying the Mosaic law in the New Testament versus what the requirement was for the people that actually believed in the Mosaic law? Why was Paul being afflicted in the first place? And I don't want to make this Bible study, but people are
Well,
not
let's do it. So, and
people are
two,
not fully taken into context of what was going on in the New Testament and the Old Testament.
So right there in Romans 2 that she brought up, what is the context there that in somewhat way doesn't fit what you were talking about?
No. I don't want y'all to get this. See, y'all trying to get distracted because y'all said that it was universally written on your
Written on your
heart.
heart, which the
No,
word
no, no,
says.
no, no, no.
That's the word right here.
Y'all said it was universal as far as what the difference is between right and wrong. I
Yes.
said, okay, well, why do you need parents, for example?
You
Why
you
is it that
do.
why
We're
is
not
it that your
disagreeing.
parents wait. If you automatically universally knew exactly who your husband was supposed to be based off of what you thought was right and wrong, why did the father often at the time pick the husband?
No, Anton, what we're saying,
That's
we're
not what I was
disagreeing.
saying. I wasn't saying that the parents have to be excluded from people's lives. We understand the parents definitely hold a purpose in cultivating the child to where the child can be able to move forward in their life in a better fashion. Obviously, we understand that without all of the parents, this is why we're going through all this havoc because of the lack of parenting and the lack of parents being
But
in
we
the home.
universally already know the difference
We
between
already
right and
know
wrong.
that. That's not what I was arguing. I'm not sure what, the
But we
brother's argument was.
universally know the difference between right and wrong, right?
What
Yeah.
No, I didn't say universally. He said
Yeah,
universally.
I
I
did.
said we have an innate ability to know certain things. When it comes to women choosing who they're choosing,
Mhm.
these women will tell you, man, I knew I shouldn't have did that. Man, I knew I shouldn't have done that. So if they knew, then there's some kind of innate ability going on there. You
Okay,
can't sit there and say that it's not
but here's
happening.
the thing.
that's
Here's the
true.
thing. There's a lot of women that don't, and I'm talking about women that are young, that are at a young age. I'm not talking about 20 something, 30 something, 40-year-old women. There
Okay, but
are
when you say college, that's where I'm talking from. I'm speaking from college and going up. I'm not talking about like 15, 13-year olds. I'm talking about what we were saying, like with college. You going in college, these women, the woman that was just on the
girls
video.
start picking a bad boy in high school.
Right.
It don't start
Right.
when they get to college. It's already there. It's already in them when they get to college.
That's true. But for some, Anton, like, in high school.
Y'all acting like y'all didn't go to high school.
No, but Anton, I'm agreeing with you.
No,
I'm
we
Wait,
definitely went to high school.
Nah, cause cause in
Here's
high
my question.
school,
'Cause
y'all
let's
was
really
leaving with
get
the
to it.
college boys in
Wait.
high school.
Let's really get to it. Did y'all make some bad decisions on the men that y'all was picking when y'all was in high school?
Yes, and then I
Okay,
learned from that and didn't choose
Yes.
those
And
You
we
men.
saw a
learned
lot of
from
women
okay.
that.
behaving.
I was about
So
to
you
say,
learned
cause
from that. Why didn't you pick the guy that you were supposed to, the good guy in high school?
Because we rebel. We do things that
Well,
we're not supposed to do.
for
No.
me,
What
I
did you
was
have to
actually
learn from it?
Naive. I
What
didn't
did you
know.
have
I
to
had to
learn
learn.
if
Exactly.
y'all already knew better? Is what I'm saying.
I
Because
didn't.
it's our nature to sin.
no,
It's our nature to
What did
go
you have to
against.
they
learn
could have
from
been.
if you already knew better?
It's a
I
nature
didn't.
to turn.
No, I
Mhm.
wasn't gonna say that. My experience is different. I'm speaking from my own experience.
Okay,
I
what's your
always
experience in high
heard
school?
and would hear and see this.
What's your
Let me not
experience?
continue on with that.
What's your
And I would get
experience in high school and
confirmation
college?
after that.
What's your
Huh?
experience in high school and college?
Okay, so from my experience, I liked sitting back more. I did have a couple of boyfriends in high school. It was literally only two. And
Good or bad?
one of them was good. The other one was bad. The first one was bad.
All right.
Now, the
Why
reason
did you
why I
pick the
didn't
bad one?
continue
Why did
with
you pick
the
the bad? Wait.
wait, listen,
Why
but
did you pick the
listen.
bad one?
You said what?
Why did you pick the bad one?
Honestly, at the time,
was that him,
I
Ben?
wanted somebody to talk to, and I was just really bored. I didn't have nothing going on for myself. I wasn't in
And you were
extracurriculars.
naive. You had to learn.
Well, no, mine
Wait a
are.
minute.
No, for real.
Wait a
I was
minute.
I
Let me
was
just
stripped. I
wait
was
a
Mm,
stripped.
minute.
No,
uh,
listen, Anton. My family is different. I was stripped from doing extracurriculars. I didn't have nothing
nah,
to really do.
nah,
Yeah,
nah.
now it's coming
Wait
You
a
full
ain't like
minute.
circle.
that grand
Wait
rising
a
That's
queen.
coming
minute.
full
How you
circle.
Wait a
doing,
You
Ben?
were
Nah,
minute.
you ain't like
naive,
none of that.
and you
Nah,
had
Hold
to
nah,
learn.
on.
But it was
nah.
because I wanted, because I chose. It wasn't because I was just did not know. It was
Mm-mm.
because I
Then
chose
why you
that.
went
It
to your
wasn't because I
family?
didn't have that
Wait.
choice.
Come
Why
on,
are you
Kamaya.
including your
Come
But
family in
you
on.
knew it was
responsibility? Why don't
wrong
you just
though.
take
Wait,
100%
what you
Ooh.
said?
Why are you including your family in this? Why don't you just take 100% ownership and responsibility?
Right.
Wait, what do you mean?
You said, oh man, because my family stripped me of extracurricular activities. What is that supposed to mean?
No, that what I'm saying is that took part in my thought process. I wanted something to do. I wanted to get it,
So you
channel
picked
my
the bad
energy.
boy. You didn't pick the
But
good guy, you picked the bad boy.
The first one, yes.
So because your family stripped you of extracurricular activities, you went with the
No,
bad boy.
I'm not saying that's because I was saying that was a
I got
part of the thought
But why
process.
you didn't pick the good boy?
There wasn't any that was like
Grand
showing that there
Rising
was
Queen.
interested in me. There was only the guy that was like, the street
I'm
guy
telling
that
you,
was
bro.
showing interest. And I was like a
Wait,
nerd.
wait, wait. So you chose the bad boy on purpose, knowing he was bad, knowing that it wasn't gonna end up well for you.
Well,
Oh,
I won't
come
say that I
on,
knew he was bad when I just saw that he had gold teeth.
Wait,
He
What?
had the
What?
gold teeth.
wait a
What?
minute.
The,
This
No,
is beautiful.
no,
This is
that's what
no,
that
no,
was
bad.
the
no, no,
thing. I
no.
was like,
Stop, stop, stop
no,
a minute.
Gold teeth.
But
So
it,
no.
wait a minute.
You
So
making
he
it
you
knew it was
didn't
worse.
know he
bad.
was.
Oh my God, we got you on
Wait. Because
You making it
this
worse.
discernment, this written on my heart,
but
all
that's
this.
what I'm saying. I knew.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh my God.
You didn't know he was bad?
No, I'm saying there was no way for me to say, oh yeah, I saw that he did these things that was bad. I just saw that he had
Wait,
gold teeth
but
and I was like,
you couldn't
I
figure
shouldn't
out.
talk to this person.
Wait, you couldn't figure out that he was bad just by your inherent nature and your ability to discern the difference between right and wrong, and that it was written on your heart.
And time. This is what I'm telling you. I said I noticed the gold teeth, and that was the thing that was like, don't
No,
talk
you
to
said
him.
that
But
I
then
didn't know
I
that he was bad.
chose,
You said I
you
didn't know.
said what?
You said I didn't know he was bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't judge and say, oh yeah, he's a bad person, but
Why didn't
I
you
just
use your
You
knew
just
that
discernment?
said he was a bad
it was
person
a
though.
Wait,
signal.
why didn't you use your discernment?
I was just about to
What do
say,
you mean?
You said he was
Why
a
didn't you
bad
use your
person.
discernment?
Your first bad
You
person.
My
said earlier.
discernment, okay, this is what I'm saying in time. My discernment was there. What I'm telling you is I
What was your
chose to
discernment? So you
continue,
seen his
which is still going with my point. It's not going against what I'm
What,
saying at all.
what was your
So what did he
discernment?
tell you?
Was it that
If
you
you
seen
didn't
his
know that
gold
he was
teeth and you said, you know what, discernment is telling me that this guy is bad?
let me
Hey,
know.
that's what I'm saying. But I still chose. I still had the choice, like everybody. That's all I'm saying. That's all
What
I've
did he
been
tell
saying.
you?
I don't know. Has anybody been hearing me say anything different?
I got
Nope.
your back,
Yeah.
Kamaya.
No.
I'm just trying to
I'm
understand
just
because
saying
that's
that
I'm trying
literally
to
listen,
all
figure
I've
it
been
one of
out.
the
saying
things
is
that I say,
women are
one of
out
the things that
here
Yeah.
I
doing the
one of the
same
things that I
thing.
stand on, one of the things that I stand on, right or wrong, good or bad, indifferent, whatever, is people have to substantiate their argument. And so what I'm trying to understand, right, is because y'all saying three different things.
I was
Y'all
trying to
not.
say something, but you changed the subject.
Okay, so you want to jump in and save them. Okay, go
No, I
ahead.
don't want to save anybody. This is
Oh
about
shit.
Christ and His Word. This is what we
No,
were
I'm
talking
just
about.
trying to.
That's all. That's
No,
all I
I'm
was
just trying
talking
to
about.
make it
I wasn't talking about
clear
her.
that this is a prime example of what I've been saying this whole time. There's so many women that have done the same thing like me because I've spoken to a lot of women, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of women here as well that can say they knew that they shouldn't have talked to this specific person before they started talking to them and still chose to talk to them. That's all I'm saying, that people know when to talk to somebody and when not to, but they still have that
Well, how did you
choice.
know?
So
Come on.
you didn't know to not talk to him until after he smiled at you, then basically.
And after he spoke and I saw the golds, that's what I'm saying. I seen the golds
But
and I'm
after you
like,
saw the
oh my
goals, you
God,
still went and
I
talked to
probably
him
shouldn't
though.
talk to
So
him. But
therefore,
then
you
he
still
kept
knew he
showing
was
me
bad
attention
then.
and then I just like kind of just leaned into it, whatever. That's what I'm
But
Mm.
that's
saying. Like
you.
you
That's you not
choose
walking away
anyway.
from that though.
All right,
You
go
said
That's
ahead.
a
what?
red flag.
You said what?
I said that's you not walking away from that though. If he showed you that and you had that intent, like, okay, this might be a bad guy, and you still went with it, that's on you.
But that's what I'm saying. I know that's on me, but that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of women's mentality out here that are getting into these relationships with people and they're like, man, I knew I shouldn't have did this, but they chose to still do it.
Y'all
Like,
stop
Mm.
you know.
gaslighting, Kamaya. Stop gaslighting, please.
I'm with. Listen, I'm with it. I like it. I like the conversation. I think that it's exciting, and so listen, I rock with y'all. All of y'all chose bad in the beginning, and y'all got y'all redemption. Cool.
Amen.
And you ain't lying.
Yep. Well, so we're right. Black women put street dudes on a pedestal. Bad boys, street dudes, all those men that aren't good, we put them first. Okay, nice guys.
I wouldn't say that that's just a black woman's thing. I think that's an immature woman's thing amongst.
It's a lot of women's
but
thing.
but
You know what I
led
mean? Like
by.
That's right.
it's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
But it's got to be led by.
Yeah.
If you're saying only 15% of black men are the one impregnating most of their women, that's like they're picking that. You got like 38 to 40% of black men are by themselves who are the good guys. So something's going on where
I don't know. I just feel like it's like a certain type of woman that's doing that with a certain type of man, because I don't see that in my proximity. I don't see, grown women who have something to lose actively trying to get impregnated by unstable men.
Well, the result is the proof is in the result, right? If you look at what communities do what, one type will tend to choose more. Doesn't mean everybody, right? But the other side, like we'll see, you don't see a lot of the Asian women with the thug Asian guys. But yet,
how do you know though? Well, how do you know what
you don't commonly
You
see
seen an
it.
Asian with a thug Asian?
You don't commonly
Are you
see
in the
it.
Asian community?
Yeah, I grew up around a
No,
lot of
but
Asian
you
guys.
don't
But what
see
I'm
it. It's
saying
something
is
you would
this. What I'm
see.
saying is this.
Yeah.
You don't really know. There are sectors within every community that behave in this way.
True, but yeah,
And
it's just
so
higher.
you
It's just
can't
higher.
assume
That's a minority exception,
but
though.
how can you say it's higher with us if you're not in those communities to assess those numbers? You don't really know.
I
Because
mean, but
that's a
it's the
minority
same.
exception.
It's the same concept for you as well, Jazz. Because you say that you're not in the same proximity, but if we all know that you're more well off, or you would be considered more well off and brought up as more well off than a lot of others as well. So you wouldn't be able to say that you were around those people when we would be able to.
Yeah, you see it. You grow up in it, right? And then you see the
Okay.
results.
So
And
you're
you see,
saying
you see the more broken homes in certain areas than in other groups. So if you're more broken homes, then you can kind of get towards the kind of
there's
the
a lot
idea.
when it comes
But
to our
there's still
community, and we don't have to go into it. There's a
You're
lot
in
of
the
reasons.
minority, Jazz.
there is a lot of, but Jazz, you're right. There is a lot of reasons, but when you can pick out one reason and go, well, this is high. like
Yeah, it's
25%
minority.
of black women are married, 75% aren't. There's a reason. And then we go, man, what's going on? But yet,
What is the reason?
that's what we have to go into. Is a lot of it the culture, the fact that we accept debauchery and death over family and life. There's a lot of different reasons. The fact that we want to lean on the government to be dad and not dad to be dad. It's a lot of different reasons where we let things go. We want to, kind of push our own self above our children and let our kids fall by the wayside. So there's all these
Divorce rate high.
the pop up like raids at 7-Eleven in downtown Chicago's on Michigan Avenue where I grew up and going, what's going on? Like there's a lot of reasons by not taking ownership of our own and going, no, the good guy, right? The nice guy. Actually, I was thinking there's three guys. There's a nice guy, the bad guy, and the kind guy.